Hey everybody, it's Sonjdradeluxe. Can I get a hell yeah? Yeah. So today we're not serving a look, we're serving education. Everything is so fast with like TikTok or Instagram videos, and everyone's doing their makeup and singing lyrics, and everything's going by really fast. There's trends coming up, and I just wanted to take time to break down and talk about how to get the most flawless, perfect foundation look for the whole day, long lasting. It's not gonna freaking fade once the 15 seconds are done or whatever. I wanted to go over some tips on how to make your foundation and skin look flawless and look great throughout the day and break everything down. I'm also gonna give a little bit of 2 cents on some makeup trends that make no sense. So if you want to see how to get a flawless base and have it last all day in a way that makes sense, please stay tuned. So like I said, everything is moving very fast, especially if you're seeing stuff on like TikTok or Instagram videos. Like things go by really fast. People are doing wild shit and it's like, does that work? But what I want to do is give you the tools to be able to assess to see if that will work or not for you, and how to critically look at it and see if it's realistic or if it's something that could be useful for you in your makeup routine. First thing, this is not like a big tip and it's not really that important, but one thing that does make your foundation go on a lot smoother is if you do any type of face shaving. So I honestly, I'm not a skincare person or expert, but I will let my face out of the shower and wet a razor and just like lightly go here, mustache. I actually do my eyebrows. My eyebrows are very thin. Till they're thick enough to pluck, I'll keep shaving it until I can pull it out. Anyways, that's just a quick one, but that does make your foundation and all of your skincare go down a lot easier. Also, when there's not hair, the hair can kind of pull a stuff from the air and your skincare into the hair follicles or pores, which can cause breakouts. So I like to keep the hair to a minimum. I have kind of peach fuzz. I try not to go like a long hair because I have hair that kind of goes from my hairline and it kind of goes towards my what's this called, sideburn. So sometimes I've like done it where I've gone all the way to the bottom and all of a sudden I have this like really long sideburn that goes like this. So usually just try to keep it up here. If you do go down, just keep in mind, if you have a little bit of hair here, which most people do, even if it's faint and kind of like your skin color, it'll be magnified when you pluck it. Just like sometimes if you pluck your eyebrows, they can look more full somehow. Anyways, that's one kind of tip. I do it a lot of times before I do videos to make everything look nice and smooth. But again, just be very mindful of what you're taking off because you don't want to make brand new sideburns. I sometimes I'm just like, F it and just take it all off. Anywho, the second major thing, which I think is actually the most important, is your timing. Each product can change or develop over time, either getting better for makeup or worse. One thing that makes a huge difference for me is don't do your makeup immediately out of the shower, and don't put a lot of really heavy products on, and also don't do a lot of your most aggressive skincare before a day where you really want to wear makeup. My skin looks way worse when I'm doing my exfoliating and all that kind of stuff that's a little bit more invasive or aggressive on your skin. If I put my makeup on afterwards, it looks very textured and doesn't sit the same. I recommend doing that at nighttime and then letting your skin heal for the night, waking up with a glowing complexion. In the morning, I actually like to keep the skincare pretty like light and super minimal. Going back to doing makeup right out of the shower, you actually sweat when you're in the shower if you're taking hot showers or warm showers. Usually you get a little bit sweaty, so right when you come out, your pores are all open and you're just sweating. Like I said, your sweat can kind of break down the product you're putting on over top, so I try to keep it really light. So I like to do other things like brush my teeth, you know, maybe have a snack or whatever, and right before I get into going and doing my makeup, I'll leave a little bit of time. One thing that I really like is just a toner and a moisturizer. If you do your like cleanser or whatever in the shower, keeping it light, I think that's fine as long as it's not too aggressive. I like the little Henriksen Glow O2H Dark Spot Toner. It is an immediate result kind of primer, I feel like, because it tightens the pores. Anything that kind of promotes reducing texture, pores, dark spots, stuff like that really helps. So doing this, I've already done it because I showered a little bit, and then I actually really like this, and this is mad expensive, but it's really bomb. This is the Augustinus batter, I don't know, the face oil. And doing this before makeup is not really ideal because it's an oil. And just like when I put my liquid highlighters or whatever, I like one that's drier or will completely dry dry rather than like an oil one. I know like a few years ago, or maybe like a couple of years ago, it was very popular to do the kind of oil drops of liquid highlight or something on your face in these makeup videos. Whenever I did that, my makeup would just like slide off right away, and I'm a super dry skin person, so that doesn't work for me. I couldn't imagine it on oilier skin tones, but again, there's no perfect way to do things. If it works for you, it works, but I like to wait a little bit of time before I put anything on after I put an oil on my face. So this is really bomb. So I've actually had this on. I took a shower. I've had this on for a little bit. It feels a little bit more like a moisturizer rather than an oil on my face. When I first put it on, it makes me look young, like super bomb, but just let it set, do your other things. So right out of the shower, I do my toner, and then I'll put like an oil or a moisturizer, and I will kind of do other things until my skin has calmed down. I'm not sweating, I don't feel hot, it doesn't feel shiny, it just looks like my skin now. Timing is a huge thing, not only with your first step before you do your skincare, but timing is also super important with how you do your makeup. For me, I like to do my foundation right before it fully sets. I like to apply my concealer because I find it blends easier. If you do it when it's super wet, your foundation can kind of wash out your concealer, or if it's too dry, it just doesn't blend the same. Another thing with primers, you have to find some that work really well for your skin. Like I said before, I'm really dry skin. I really like the Milk Makeup Hydrogrip Primer. I find this is great if I use it pretty soon after I apply it. So still while it's starting to set. If I wait too long, it kind of gets tacky, and I feel like my hydrating foundations won't blend over it and it sticks. Bringing timing back into it is knowing that fine line on when is a good time to go on to the next step. So I'm going to start with one thing that I do all the time. Again, going back to liquid highlighters and not having it be oily. I'm going to use my Gleam by Melanie Mills Peach Deluxe Body Radiance. The reason why I like this was originally created, Melanie Mills was a makeup artist on Dancing with the Stars. She needed something for the dancer's legs to look like makeup and not be sticky and get all the costumes and stuff like that. Now it's the Face and Body Radiance. I really like it because it's very pearly and it almost is like a primer. It has a very similar feel to this once it sets. And the little tiny micro reflecting bits in it actually play tricks on the light and kind of diffuse the light. So it doesn't matter if you want to be matte, dewy, anything like that. This just gives you a glow without making you dewy or shiny or taking away from matte. Because again, this is not like a plug on which foundation is going to make your skin look the best. It is strictly just how to use your foundation the best way, which is going to bring me to my next thing, which is balance. So this is moisturizing, but it is a moisture that absorbs, just like this. There's no after residue or after thing that we need to balance out, because one major thing that I think about with makeup is the balance. When I have dry skin and I'm using a hydrating foundation that has a dewy finish, I will use a little bit of powder. If I'm using a matte foundation, that gives me a matte finish, which will make my dry skin look matte. I won't use powder. If you're oily, you'll probably use powder if you're using matte or hydrating. So you want to think about what's the lasting finish of your foundation on your skin and what do you do to balance it. So for me, I'm using more of natural foundations and I have an oil on, so I'm going to use stuff that's going to dry it up and then bring my skin back to life. So this is one thing that'll give shine and not oil. And what I mean with balance is more of how it feels rather than how it looks. So this will give dewiness without giving me oiliness, which will give me slipperiness, which will take my makeup off. There are a lot of liquid highlights too that are kind of more of a oily finish. And what do you take off your makeup with? Oil. And you want to keep things more on the dry side. You don't want it to really feel like anything. When something is dry, it lasts longer. Just like dried herbs, if you have, you know, dried meats or smoked salmon or whatever, anything dried, it lasts a long time. Anything that's super oily or, you know, moves, those are things to kind of mix things or take things off or thin things out, break things down. Just like if you're a mummy, you put salt, you make yourself very dry, you last for 3,000 years. So that's what we want to do. I'm gonna go in with the Milk Hydrogrip Primer now. So another thing that I'm not a huge fan of with primers is those ones that have too much silicone in them. I find on my skin they kind of ball up and roll into my foundation and make it really thick. Also, when you're not giving your products a chance to dry, and this time I'm talking a lot because when I'm doing like a 10-minute tutorial and I'm sitting there doing my makeup for like 45 minutes to an hour or whatever, time isn't really being considered. So now, as you can see, it's kind of sticking to my skin. I'm gonna go in with my foundation right away. I have the McGrath foundation because I feel like this foundation doesn't mix the best with this unless you work really quickly. And another thing I want to talk about is My arms and my body are much darker than my face, so I use a foundation that is a little bit darker than my face skin, and then I go ahead and balance it out, talking about balance again, with a very light concealer. And then I don't look like I'm just like a weird color. Give me neck. I'll even go darker now because I'm tanned. And I like to mix it in really well. A lot of people say, hey, I can't do my foundation with my hands. And it's okay to layer it and give it some time. I think people expect it to look perfect right when you put it on and have it blend, but it's just like lotion. I don't know if you've ever put on a lotion and it goes white and then it kind of absorbs and disappears. Same thing with wet foundation. It can look streaky, it could look all over the place because it hasn't settled in yet. Just give yourself some time with your skin, love it up, get your circulation going, heat up your product, which I really like too. A lot of times products can change when they get up to body temperature and they can move around. Using your hands already warms it up for you, and blending it in like that kind of smooths it into every, you know, if your pores are showing or whatever, you're massaging it in. It gets into all the little areas that can make it look more textured. I need a mirror for freak's sakes. So my foundation hasn't really like dried yet, and I want to work quickly going back to timing because I want my foundation to still be a little bit before it's set. So this is a huge one. This is a dry beauty blender. This is a wet beauty blender. They're different colors. You want your beauty blender to go quite big in size if you're doing your foundation or your concealer, but that should be the size difference. And I didn't realize that this was a thing until I saw my friend. She's doing her makeup with a dry beauty blender and it was just thick. It felt heavy to pick up. I was like, what are you doing? She's like, I don't know, I wet it. And then I realized, I'm like, well, let me show you. When you wet it like this, you should be able to squeeze it so that nothing comes out. You can also wet it so that stuff comes out. When you do that, it'll take off your foundation. Wring it out. I'll even like, I literally have makeup doing pants. Take a towel, paper towel, something. After you've washed it or wet it, roll it in there, squeeze it out so it's springy and fluffy like this. I have foundation on my hands and I just made it kind of dirty. These are both wet the same way. This is a dirty beauty blender, and these are the same color, and this is a clean one after I just got my hands on it. Do you see how much bigger the clean one gets? All this heaviness and product in there will not allow you to get beautiful blending, and it's a moist, damp sponge. That's a great place for bacteria to kind of grow. You keep using this on your face without washing it, disaster for your skin. So make sure that you're wetting your beauty blender and cleaning it. I really like the charcoal cleaner from Beauty Blender. So it grows to this size. It makes a huge difference. If it's too wet, your makeup will come off. If it's too dry, you're just basically giving your beauty blender a really generous, expensive drink of your products. It'll absorb it. If it's already at its capacity of being a fluffy sponge, it's not gonna absorb as much. If it's dry, it's gonna try and suck in moisture like your foundation and your concealer and all your stuff that you worked hard to get. So make sure it's nice and damp like this before you go ahead. Okay, so this is a little bit unnecessary, but something that I like to do. Underneath my eyes is kind of a bluey tone. So when I put my foundation on, it goes gray. To combat blue or purple, you could either go yellow or you can go peach. For me, the yellow doesn't really work because it just looks yellow on my skin. Because I'm going a little bit darker to match my body and I have more warm undertones, I need more warmth to cancel out the blue tones underneath my eyes. So I'm gonna take Caramel Corn by Huda Beauty. I really like this one because it's full coverage, but it's dewy enough to mix with my foundation. So I like to do it right under here. Ooh, shit, that's a lot. Squeezed it a little bit much, but that's okay. I'm gonna do a little here, here, blue, 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 hee, hee, hee. Yeah. And this is the part that I'm saying is unnecessary, but I've been doing it lately because I want lightness and a lift. So I take granola, which is lighter. It doesn't have the same color correcting kind of properties as the caramel corn. This is just to lift my eye and make it look higher. And again, I want to do this when my foundation is more on the wet side. So I'm going to go ahead and blend. I'm going to blend my color correcting concealer first because I don't want it to mix with the lighter color because it'll just make it make no sense. And I'm going to go to a side that's not been used, and I'm just going to blend that on the highest points of my cheeks and have it meet almost like an ombre. And I'd like to drag some on my eyelid because my eyelids are kind of veiny, a little darker. Everyone's like, you get those threads in your eye? And I say no, I just do my concealer. But I've been doing, you know, a lifted eye look, or have lifted eyes kind of forever. And I can't even imagine if I did threads. What are those called? My eyebrows would look like forward slashes. Like it'd be like this. Not a good look. I can't do it. They're high enough. Forward slash, backslash, not a good look for me. And so I'm going in the areas that light kind of hits first, or where I want to lift. Now, like I said, I used a hydrating foundation, and I think the automatic response or the habits are to bake, you know, jawline, to carve out your contour, like do aggressively under the eyes and stuff like that. As a dry skin person, I can't. I want to do areas that I just get creasing or movement or whatever. Places where I need the most color correction. So right under my eyes. So the McGrath Labs powder, and I like to take it on my wet beauty blender, dab it off, just use a little bit, and just tap it underneath right where I need it. That's it. I don't want to bake my whole face. That works for a lot of people. So for example, if you are oily in certain areas, or let's say right here you get oily around the nose, whatever, do it customized for your face. Like it doesn't have to follow me or whatever anyone else does. Do it for you, because if you over powder, you can look really friggin' old and wrinkly, which has happened to me, and I feel like I can't move my face. I like this powder because it's very flexible. It works on oily skin or dry. I have a hard time with powder, but this one works really good. And I'll just put it where I need it. Now, timing is another thing with this. If your concealer is mad wet and you're going in with powder, just think about if you have like a wet surface and you're putting flour over top, you're gonna have dough. And dough is sticky and it moves and it slides. Give a chance for it to kind of dry a little bit, and then put your powder on lightly, and you'll just kind of seal it in. If everything's all wet, you're making dough on your face with your makeup. So give it some time to settle a little bit. Even giving your concealer a chance to kind of settle before you go ahead with the concealer or the powder. See where it moves and it'll love you back. Also, I put powder on for bronzer, for highlight, for blush. It's all powder, so I don't need to powder my whole face. My bronzer is gonna do that. If you have uneven skin or texture or whatever, you might want to powder, or if you want to sheer it all out, but it's just a waste of product. I find when I put powder somewhere, when I go ahead and bronze there afterwards, it just shears out my bronzer, and then I'm trying to dig up my product with my brush, and it's a hot mess and it's a waste, and I don't like to waste. So anyways, this is a strong base for you to do anything over top. I've got light, it already looks highlighted or contoured. Sometimes I'll even just go along, this is the one I didn't want to use, gross. I'll even go along sometimes with whatever's left over on my brush and just like highlight my jawline so it looks friggin' snotched. Extra jawline. You feel me? So that's like a foundation breakdown. I hope this was helpful. I already have everything done in most of my other videos, so if you want to see how I look, then go check them out. But this is what we got. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this is helpful. Let me know below your foundation tips and tricks on how to make it sexy and last long. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and follow. Love yourself, please. Stay pretty, and I'll see you guys again in the next video. Take care.